my face. I can't grow, I can't bloom. So get out of my face. Or would you give me some air? Try to be more aware of what I need. You don't know what I need, yeah. One mistake, till we break. One more night, one more fight. Sleep it off, then we play it safe. We hide away inside our cage. One mistake, till we break. One more night, one more fight. Sleep it off, then we play it safe. We hide away inside our cage. Can't help the way that I'm feeling when I'm with you. You are weighing me down. Sometimes I can't have the rhythm, it's making me no good. And I don't like the sound. Could you please make some room and get out of my face? I can't grow, I can't bloom, so get out of my face. Oh, would you give me some air? Try to be more aware of what I need. You don't know what I need. One mistake, till we break. One more night, one more fight. Sleep it off, then we play it safe. We hide away inside our cage. One mistake, till we break. One more night, one more fight. Sleep it off, then we play it safe. We hide away inside our cage. Yeah, yeah. Inside a cage. Oh, yeah. One more night, one mistake, till we break. And I just can't help the way I'm feeling. Can't help the rhythms. I just don't like the sound.
And Stuart said, you're alive, mate. Yes, I am. I've just been so busy, like with dance shoots. Like this time of year is crazy with dance shoots. I mean, I did have COVID a while ago, and I actually, I'm just going to have a Coke today, and I had long-term COVID, so I was very tired for quite a while. But I'm fine now, completely fine. So let me come back to this. If you look at all these cameras, they are really quite, well, I wouldn't say old, but they're definitely getting dated now. I mean, the a6-600, 3 years, 4 months old, is you know, fairly dated. The a9II is one that should definitely be upgraded because the thing is, the a9II was really only an incremental upgrade from the a9-1, the original A9. So it really wasn't much of an update. So they really do now need, I'm going to do a Coke burp, they really do now need to do a major upgrade on the a9 II. And that's why it wouldn't surprise me if it is tested during the Olympics. Sorry, not during the World Cup. It's the perfect time to do it. So I think that probably is going to be the next camera that may be announced, would be the a9III. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the one anyway. It'll be interesting to see what they put on it, though, because I think if this is aimed at the sports camera, you may not get that articulating screen that you've just got in the a7R5. So it may keep the same type of screen that's on it. I mean, what do you guys think? I'd love to know in the chat whether you think that that's possibly a case. I know they tend to try and make the sports cameras more solidly built where things can't go wrong and things like that. So it might be that they don't put that new articulating screen, which is amazing, by the way, on the new a9III. But I mean, they must improve the actual monitor, though. They would have to put the you know, the higher res screen on the back. If they don't do that, it'd just be crazy. It'll obviously have the major upgrade, you know, the new EVF that's in the a7S III and the A1. I mean, it probably won't have 8K in the camera. I mean, I'd be surprised if it did. I think they'll still try and have an A1 for that. They'll have to make some sort of differences in between, although Sony have proven before that they don't always do that, that sometimes they do add every feature in it. Remember when the a7 III came out, it basically blew the a7S two out of the water. You know, I mean, that was the interesting thing. So they could make the a9III better than the A1. It's possible that they may do that. How are you, Peter, too? Just saw Peter Griggs popped in to say hi. So I think that could be the case. I think it may be slightly better in most features than what the A1 is. And then obviously they'll upgrade the A1 in due time as well. I'm not sure how much now that they can improve the autofocus. I mean, I know if you're looking at the AI features that they've got in the new A7R4, they probably will implement those into the A9. But remember, this will have a new sort of stacked sensor, so it is going to be a leap above what the other cameras out there will probably do. It might be the same sensor as what's in the A1. It could possibly be that, and they'll just have some more features or take something out of it a little bit to make you go to the A1. I don't think it'll have the megapixels of the A1. I think they'll probably stick to that 24. They may go up around about 30, but I don't think they're going to get up, you know, 50, 60. I think that's probably going to be kept for the A1. The a9III will probably stick it down more that lower end because it's used for sports and you don't really need those massive files anyway. They're generally done for media and things like that. I also wouldn't be surprised if the a9III could be the first camera that Sony brings out full frame that doesn't have a mechanical shutter. I think we're getting up to the point now with those cameras that the sensors are so fast that they may not put a mechanical shutter in there. The only reason why really you needed to do it before was banding. Well, obviously there's no banding really in these newer cameras. And also you needed it for flash. Well, you don't need that anymore because these, you can have flash now working on the silent shutter like you can with the A1. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the mechanical shutter is gone in this camera, and I would be rapt if that was the case anyway. There's less that can go wrong with it. And if you're going to have this camera and using it for sports and things like that, you'd be shooting mechanical anyway, electronic anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. They may have some other advancements too in stabilization. I know we've seen that with the A7R4 that they say there's now an extra stop, I think. But looking at all the reviews that were out there, I don't think it's made that much of a difference. But, you know, they may sort of improve the AI on the A9 as well. And they probably will put more AI features into this like they have with, say, the A7R4. You know, I think that's great. And let me know in the chat too, particularly down below, if you have any sort of things that you think the a9III may have over what the a9 II is, or whether you think it'll be a better camera than the A1. That'll be the interesting thing. I mean, it's probably going to happen, but it's, well, nearly 2 years old, the A1. So I would expect that the a9III will probably be a better camera than the A1. And there'll be an update to that probably next year or the year after. Other cameras, obviously, I think there probably will be a new APS-C. I know we've had that, what is it, the FX3, is it? The F3 or whatever it is that's just been announced recently. But I think we're due to get some smaller APS-C camera as well. I still wish that, and I might be different with this, but I still wish that they bring out a APS-C camera with an a7 III type body. That would be really good. But whether they do that or whether it sits sort of in that same body as it is now. I mean, I'm using the ZV-10 to shoot today. So it could be, you know, like an upgrade to that, but we definitely need an upgrade. The sensor in the A6000 series cameras is very, very old, you know, and the rolling shutter and things like that are terrible. They really do need to update that sensor anyway. So that would be the A6600. Whether they would do a lower end one, I'm not sure. The A7S III, probably, I would think we might be another 12 months away from having that updated. It's interesting now because of the FX3 being there, the A7R4 being there, the A7S III, apart from some of the resolutions that you can shoot at, you know, the really high bit depths and things like that, it's sort of losing, and I hate to say that because it's still my favourite camera that I've ever owned, but I think it might be losing its relevance really in the whole lineup. They may want to push that more now towards something like the FX3 or something like that, you know, or go down that line rather than having an A7S a7S4 or you know, something like that. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think about that in the comments too. I mean, there still is justification in the fact, I suppose you could say, it's the low light beast, but the low light now on these new cameras is just incredible. You know, like, it's, unless you're going to ridiculous sort of high ISOs, I don't know. I mean, you're fine with an A7R 4 or an A7 IV. You know, I mean, they're amazing cameras. The A7 IV, really, it's a toss now, but really between, say, getting an A7S III or an A7 IV. I mean, I love the EVF that has. That's why, I mean, I still adore it. I just love the EVF that the A7S III has, and I like the 12 megapixel file size, but, you know, everyone's different. The A7C definitely could do with an update. So that wouldn't surprise me if that has an update sometime next year. And like I said, I think the A1 probably will have another year over that. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit longer before the A1, I think, will be upgraded. But I think the a9III is probably going to be a really amazing camera. I wouldn't be surprised if that really is like a generational leap again, like the original A9 was. Like I said, the A9 II was only an incremental upgrade, so they really do have to do something special with the A9III. Let's go to this next one, because I just wanted to just talk about this. Look, I'm not going to go too long on this because this has been out for a while, because I haven't been on for so long anyway. But this was a really nice release that Sony did. This back screen, I think, was genius, the way that they've done that back screen. I love it too, because one problem with these back screens is that normally you can't hold the camera up on portrait. What I mean by that is this way. Let me see if that'll come through. Is it going to work? No. Oh, why isn't that changing now? Let me just refresh this page. Because I want to just discuss the way that screen goes. Let me take it right back up to the top. Where did I get that from? Now I won't find it. Specifications and features. Let me just see here. No, it's gone now. Oh. Isn't that typical? Anyway, normally when you do portraits, when your camera is facing this way, I'm talking about. I haven't got a camera in here with me. But the issue was with the fold-out screen, you can't use it. You can't use it very low to the ground because you can't access that screen. Well, the way they've designed this is it's ideal for landscape, and it's also ideal for portrait as well. And it's a genius idea. Where did I find them? Because it came up with all these pictures. Just trying to see if I can... Oh, it might be here, actually. No. Wouldn't you think that they'd show it on the page? Well, you can sort of see it here, but it folds out multiple ways, and that's what's so amazing about this screen. And like I said, it's genius, actually, what Sony have done with this. I can't believe that they're not showing it on the main page here, because it's just so cool. But anyway, the camera itself, I think, really is a great camera. The only thing is, you have to shoot in Super 35 to get decent rolling shutter. And that's typical if you're not using a sensor like what the A9 or the A1 is. So that, you know, I'm not surprised with that at all. But over, you can just see it there. You can sort of see it's down there, and then that's the screen sort of folding out underneath here. It really is a genius way of doing it. Like I said, I'm not sure they'll do that on the a9III, because I suppose it does have the potential to be damaged if you're being a little bit rough with your camera, and sports shooters often are pretty rough with their cameras. So, but this camera is great. The AI sort of things that they do in this now are really good with the autofocus and things like that. The resolution, I think, is a nice sweet spot for that type of camera as well. It even does insects and things like that with the AI. It does do up to 8K performance too, so it really is amazing. It's an amazing piece of kit. Saying it here will recognise things like birds and planes and horses and cars and trains and insects. White balance has also been improved. It does have new processors. Also, the lossless compressed medium, large and small. That's nice as well that they've put that in there. This is where I was talking about the stabilization is meant to be improved. I haven't really heard much about that, though, that it's really that much difference. But anyway, they're saying it's 8 stops of stabilization. That'd be obviously if you're using a stabilized lens as well. What else has it got? Pixel shift shooting has had a big improvement as well. The way that that functions gives you a massive image, and it also takes a movement into account. So that's great as well. But it's more the AF, this real-time recognition, that is unbelievable. And you can imagine what they're going to do with the A9 as well. It does have focus bracketing. I think you do have to do that in software later on, though, which is a pity you can't do that in camera. But it will do that. It's just saying here that it will do 583 compressed raw images at 10 frames per second as well. What else has it got? It's got 8K, but I do believe it's limited to, yes, it is. It's 24 or 25p. So at least you can do it with PAL, you can do it with NTSC as well. And it's using this HEVC H.265 compression, which is great anyway. It does have 4K 60 or 50p as well, which is great. Like I said, if you wanted a camera that will do good video and is also has decent resolution or good resolution and great autofocus, I think this is a brilliant camera. They've upped the monitor resolution. They've also upped the EVF resolution. So there's really nothing I can say negative about this apart from the rolling shutter that you get in full frame. So you have to go to Super 35 if you want to get decent rolling shutter. Apart from that, I think it is a great camera. Oh, you can see the design there too of the way this screen flips out. So it really does have amazing flexibility. Like I said, I know Aaron always shoots down that low, and I know Gilbert, who follows us as well, always is almost lying on the ground when they do their shots. And to have that ability to be able to open that monitor and have it down on the floor so that you can see what you're doing is a really great feature. I like it. You've now gone to the dual Type A CF Express Type A cards in there. Dedicated still movie and S&Q dial, which is nice as well. It would have better touch operation than what the previous cameras have had. You can live stream from it from USB as well. It's got fast tethering. There's not really much more you'd want, is there? I mean, I think it's brilliant. Let me know what you think about it in the comments there as well. Aaron's here as well, said, yeah, the screen looks great. So that's that. Now, let's keep going, and I'll open up to chat at the other side. Sony also said they've taken the FX3 and the FX30 firmware updates off. Apparently, it's been causing some cameras to do a boot loop. So it'll just keep looping and starting up and looping again. So if you haven't updated that, obviously it's not going to be there. Hopefully, if you have updated it, you're not stuck on that boot loop. Another one I wanted to share with you here too is, this is really interesting as well, because this survey is saying that the a7 III is still the most popular camera used by professional photographers. And that's beating all of the other cameras that are there, actually. Now, I've discussed this before, that when you're dealing with a professional, it's mostly hobbyists that buy the latest gear all the time. And it is, trust me, it mostly is hobbyists, because they have that disposable income that they can say, well, I'm going to go out and buy a new A9 or a new A1 or that sort of thing, because they've usually got a second job to supplement what they're doing. If you are running this for a business, you have to justify every expense you've got, and you really have to use that camera until it breaks almost. So that's why you often find, I still do weddings and see people shooting with the old Canons all the time. So as a professional, we don't update our gear very often at all. Like I said, it's just a thing that more people do that have that disposable income that can afford to sort of do that. I'm not saying businesses don't do it, but it's more like I said, the hobbyists that will do that. And it's the same in music as well. I mean, I'm mad on music, guitars and all this sort of stuff, and it's mostly the hobbyists as well are the ones all buying the gear all the time. It's not the ones that are working. They can't afford it. So it really doesn't surprise me that the a7 III is still the workhorse that's still out there. And also the R6 as well. Like I said, I still see an awful lot of photographers still using the EOS 5D Mark IV. And I see that all the time. And it's still really quite common out there. I haven't seen many A1s, and that naturally, that's so expensive that I probably wouldn't expect, unless you're a sports photographer or something like that, that you'd be using a camera like that. But, you know, it's just an interesting thing that I thought that I would share with you. But wow, the a7 III, amazing. And lastly, before we open up to Q&A, Tamron has painted a whole series of full-frame prime lenses. I've done a couple of reviews recently. One was on the Fuji, where I did it. Actually, I did two Fuji cameras, two Fuji Tamron lenses. I also did the 20 to 40 mil. That was great. That 20 to 40 mil Tamron was amazing. If you haven't watched that video, check that out. What a great focal length just to carry around and do travel or something like that. But they're talking now about new lenses that are all 1.4. So they're saying here that they may do the 28 1.4, the 30 1.4, 35 1.4, 40 1.4, and the 50 1.4. Now, I'm just hoping that they can do some voodoo magic and have these all with a 67mm filter thread. I cannot wait to get my hands on those. Because obviously Tamron will send those to me as soon as they're released. So I'm really excited about that as well. All right, so let's open up to some Q&A and see what you guys have anything to say. Let's just go back to here. Still in mono, so I notice it's still coming out the left-hand side only. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to get a few people saying that. Let me come down to where people were asking questions. Still a mechanical hum from the right channel. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I can see a slight signal on the right-hand side as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll go over the system when I've finished today. I'll see if I can solve that. It's probably a lead somewhere. Let me just keep coming down. Oh, Julian said, don't touch another button. Well, it's been so long since I've done one. It's no wonder I couldn't remember what to do. Ah, well, it is what it is. I think there is booze in your Coke. I love it. I'm going to have to start having beer again now that we're into nearly summer here. Peter was here as well. Hi, David. Hope all is going great. Yeah, really great, Peter. Hope you're fine as well. John said the A7 IV has animal eye AF in video and focus breathing comp. I know. Look, you know, I still cannot understand why they haven't added those into the A1 and the a7S III. I just don't understand, Sony, honestly. It really makes me angry that they haven't added those, particularly on the A1. I mean, I think if anyone deserves that, it would be the a7 III. Kerry washed my hat. Look, and it's all a bit wonky. I love this hat. Never getting rid of it. Anyway, yeah, it's disappointing that they haven't added the firmware to that. And the longer we go now, I don't think we're going to get it. But, oh well. But focus breathing, definitely, that should be added. I would love to have that in the a7S III and also in the A1 as well. I haven't got the A1, but I mean, for people that have paid all that money, and the animal IAF too in video would be really handy as well. Hi, Juicy, how are you, mate? AJ says it's too bad that the third-party editing program Capture One and Lightroom doesn't support small, medium, raw options yet. They will though, AJ. I've sort of, you know, the interesting thing is, I did switch over to Capture One. But I was finding, look, Capture One is brilliant. It is so good if you're doing things that aren't like weddings or dance sort of shoots and things like that where you've got thousands of images. I find I've gone back to Lightroom for those because I just like the way that Lightroom works and the way you can just copy and paste settings easily. I know you can do it in Capture One, but I just find the way that Lightroom works is just so much better. The other thing too is the masking the masks that you can do in Capture One in Lightroom, the new version of Lightroom, are unbelievable. I should do a video about it, but boy, when you're doing dance shoots where you've got white backgrounds and things like that, and you can just immediately isolate the subject from the background and do all this like really, really quickly. Wow, the masking in Lightroom is nuts. It really is. But I would say, you know, they're going to add those options back in. I noticed too that the that doesn't really fit either. I'll have to try and check that too. How do we change the size of that? Let me go in here, edit. Let me see. I can go down here, I think. Oh no, that's bigger. Ooh. 20, let me go 22 and try that, save. Let me bring one up again. Okay. Aaron says, yes, the screen looks great. Yeah, it does. 8 stops without lens stabilization. It's supposed to be a big difference. Okay, thanks, Michael. Yep. Wasn't sure, but that's interesting. Now, is your screen, if you're looking at this, is also I've noticed that there's black bars on either side of this. Why is that? It's got in a 4.3. I'll have to check that as well because it should be full screen. Ugh. Just another thing that I've got to check. What else have we got? Aaron said they may put this screen on the A7 Mark II. Yeah, you love that, Aaron, wouldn't you? Just ordered 2 of them this week. What's that, Stuart? It does look like a fantastic camera, the A7R4. I'm happy with the A7R3 though. I still don't think it's better to buy a body of a good standard rather than the best and invest in good glass. Look, with any of these, the A7R5, yeah, you're saying. The thing is with it is that the glass will always give you a better result than what the camera body will. And I always say that glass is often for life. Bodies, camera bodies you will replace. So, yeah, I always say to people, if you've only got so much money, buy the better glass and get the body that you can afford with that. The glass will always make a bigger difference. Aaron said, you're right about hobbyists. Yeah, they certainly are all the ones with the money. That's for sure, Aaron. Rick said, hey, just joined. Did Dave say those cameras are on the way? No, they're not on the way, but they're probably sometime next year, I'm saying, Rick. Also, you are right about the hobby shooters like myself. We believe we need something better, or like myself, just want better. Gear acquisition syndrome. It's nice to have nice. Exactly, and I've got no problem with that at all. See, that's still not fitting. Let me check this again. We go down there. Save. Where were we? Let me just see that. Oh, I don't think it's even changing. Oh, hang on. I think I can do it through there. Yeah, let me keep going. I think I'm going to get it. Oh, can I go down? No, that makes it bigger. Aha! Now it's fitting in. I think. Let me see. Yes. Yeah, and it does. Like I said, I've done the same thing with music too. If you could get a pedal or something like that or whatever, where if you're working for, that's your job and you haven't got that disposable income, you'll use the same thing for years and years and years. The same guitar, like you'll see the guitarist will have their favourite guitar or whatever, and the body will be basically all worn off, all of the paint and stuff like that, whereas a hobbyist will just keep buying, and that's just the way it is. It's like I said, you've got that disposable income that you can afford to do it. Pros can't afford, but also don't have the time to learn new gear. That's another thing as well, Aaron. Most hobbyists can't afford their gas, though. I know that's true, but it is what it is, isn't it? I got the new Tamron 20-40. You did get that, Aaron. It's a great lens, isn't it? I love that one. It's so small, so light, great focal length. I mean, it's good enough for portraits, that 40 mil size. And also at 20 mil, it's really quite wide as well. Great stabilization. Michael said he ordered the new A7. That'd be the new A7R, I suppose. But I've been thinking about getting another A1 and calling it a day. Interesting. Bill said beer is great any time of the year. I love it. Mike said Coca-Cola recalls popular product due to possible health risk. Okay, I'm going to drink it anyway. I love it. Yeah, although they were answering each other, yeah. So you're thinking about just buying another A... Oh, yeah, I don't know what I'd do in that situation, Michael. I mean, you can't go wrong with an A1 either, can you? Let's face it. I mean, it's an amazing camera. Lightroom is really great for organisation, and yes, the new masking tools are brilliant, especially for being able to intersect them. I know, look, if you haven't looked at them, you really do need to look at the new masking in Lightroom. It is nuts. And now probably what I might do is use Capture One. I'm not sure I'll even upgrade to the new version. I might just keep what I've got for the moment, but of Capture One. But I'm definitely going to be using Lightroom for weddings and also for my dance shoots and things like that, because it just works so well. And the masking is nuts. The color rendering I still believe is nicer in Capture One though. But it's just not as good for multiple, you know, big sort of shoots. John said, yes, you're in 4.3. Yeah, I noticed that too. It must be on the camera. I'll have to check that. Yeah, weird. Does Capture One have new camera matching RAW profiles? They update the RAW profiles all the time, so it'll definitely come. I just discovered you can switch from color camera matching, and the color massively improve. Yes, it does. Yeah. Oh, Gilbert's here. G'day, Gilbert. How are you, buddy? I was talking about you before. We're talking about how you hold the camera down very, very low, and how the new type of screens that you can open up, like on the a7R4, would be perfect, or a7R5. Dream Lens, he said that's the Tamron 20 to 40. Tech Food said, I got the FX30 using the 16 to 35 GM with it. I find, what's it saying? With it till I find an APS zoom lens I like. Well, like I said, you can always buy full frame lens and use them on them. It's just you have to take that factor of it working in, 1.6 or whatever it is. You've got to multiply the focal length by. So that's what you've got to do in that regard as well. And that's about it. We've reached the end of it. Gilbert, you've come in right at the end. I'm on the left channel. Everyone out, please. No complaining in the comments. I'm sure it's going to happen. By next week, I will have fixed the audio. I will have fixed the 4.3 showing on the screen. And that should be about it, really. I think. Oh, I love it. Gilbert says he likes the a7R5. Aaron also says, me too. I like the new screen. Let me just bring that back up. Let me go here. I'm surprised I couldn't really show it. Just trying to see if I can find a picture of it. Let me have a look. I think this is only showing it here, but let me just switch this over. So you can see it here, but it's not showing it down, but it's a genius idea, the way it folds in. The other thing too, the way that this works as well, it keeps everything away from your plugs at the side as well, which is what's so good about this. You can fold it completely back if you wanted to. You could turn it the other way around and then you could see the screen from the back. Does it have one facing the other way down? No, it doesn't. But you can see here how the microphone port, now you've got full access. The other cameras that came out, like the a7S III, when you brought it out, that would be blocked off. So you couldn't turn this right the way down. So they really have come up with an amazing, it's probably the best design of any camera that's out there, I think. Let me just see if I can find another picture with it the other way. There's got to be one around somewhere. Let me just put that up there. You can never find something when you want it. It's so annoying. Oh, put the wrong thing there anyway. Let's have a look. Oh, come on. Show me the image. Give me the image, baby. There's got to be one in here somewhere. Surely. Surely. No. Oh. I don't think there is. I thought it was one of the best features about the whole camera, and they're not showing it anywhere. It's ridiculous. Oh, well, you know what I mean anyway, because I showed you before. But it's probably, like I said, the best design ever. Hey, yet again, Sony listened to this one and delivered. They certainly did, Gilbert. Yeah, I mean, they really have done a great job. I mean, the original Sony A-series cameras had a really great folding rear screen as well, the Sony A-mount. But this, like I said, has taken it to another level. I think it's fantastic. John said, doesn't the Lumix GH6 have a similar... It may, John. I'm not sure. I'm not actually quite sure. Yeah, let me try B&H. That might have it, actually. Let me give that a go. Oh. B and H photo. Let's have a look on here. Let me check. Sony a7V. Bing. All right, let me go to do then. Oh, Sony a7V. All right, let me go in here. Let me switch over. Oh, where are we? Background. Let's see if this shows it. This probably won't either. It's got 42 though. It's got to show it, doesn't it? It has to, doesn't it? See, it's that way as you see it flipping around that way. I don't think it does. Oh, there you go. Well, it shows it from the top. See, it's even good that way as well. I mean, I'm often doing weddings and stuff. I mean, I'm a shorty anyway. I'm often holding it up like that, and to have the ability to have that like there is fantastic. Let me just see if it'll zoom up a little bit. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And I think this one is going to show it the other way. Oh, yes. I love it. It's there. Look, there it is. See, this is the Gilbert and Aaron method of shooting, except for they'd be lying on their belly. But, yep, I think it is absolute genius, the way that they've actually made this screen. I really do think it's amazing. So you can just use it as your normal flippy type screen, and then you can fold it out. You're not blocked by the microphone jack. Hopefully, Sony will be putting this now on all of their new cameras. It is just brilliant. It really is. The LCD screen is the best. I know it's so good, Michael. David, you skipped the image showing the various flip positions. I just showed one then. So it's all good. Good to see you, my friend David Johnson said as well. I know they're talking to each other, and that's it. Okay. Manny's here as well. G'day, Manny. Haven't been on for a while, so just popping in. Thank you for saying hi, Manny. Good to see you here. So apart from that, everyone, tune in again next week, and I'll be back. Hopefully there'll be some other things that we can chat about. If you have any things that you'd like to discuss, leave them, in the comments or whatever, and I'll certainly, try and answer them for you, because it's been so long since I've been on. I want to try and change a few things this year. I want to start going through showing my software that I use and some of the plugins that I use and all these other things as well. So I'm going to try and make it a little bit different this year compared to other times as well. Mark said, gee God, I gave up on LCD and went external 7-inch, so much better and worth extra carry expense by a mile. Yep, it is. It certainly is until they upgrade their monitors, Mark. I totally understand what you're saying. So apart from that, everyone, I'm going to go. I don't think the ending will work anyway because that's probably not set up either. Next show, I'll have the audio back on properly. I mean, it won't be just on the left channel, and I'll have it on 16:9 on here as well. But thanks for joining, everyone. Love it if you could give me a thumbs up. Really would appreciate it. But I am back. Thanks, Rick, for saying have a great weekend. You all have a great weekend as well. Apart from that, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.
If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide.